Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope you are safe and fine. You have enjoyed with a little break. Now, today we are going to start with Gymnosperm, another topic in the same chapter, Plant Kingdom, chapter 3. And lastly, we have completed with algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. The plants which are included in all these three groups, they were comparatively of primitive type. Now today we are going to start with Gymnosperm and then we will continue with Angiosperms. So Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, they are comparatively advanced type of plant group. What is the advancement? The advancement is Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, they contain fruit and seeds in their life cycle. The fruits and seed development, they are lacking in algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. The meaning of Gymnosperm, gymna is naked and sperma is seeds. So if we combine these two words, the plant group, it contains naked seeds. So seeds are opened, they are not at all covered by any covering. In angiosperms, we will see that the seeds, they are covered by fruits. So here if we compare these two groups, gymnosperm, they lack fruit development, that is why the seeds are naked. So biologically, if we understand this term, we can say that the ovules are not at all enclosed by any of the covering or any ovary wall and remain directly exposed both before as well as after fertilization. So seeds are totally naked, they are opened. आप सोचोगे मैम बार बार जिम्नोस्पर्म्स की बात कर रही हैं, बट हाउ वी विल आइडेंटिफाई जिम्नोस्पर्म्स कैसे होते हैं? In gymnosperm plant group, all the varieties of trees, shrubs, they are included, medium sized trees, even tall trees like sequoia, and shrubs they are included जैसे cycas, pinus, even thuja, जिसको हम पहचानते हैं मोर पिच से, आप जनरली वर्ड यूज़ करते हो. इवन क्रिसमस ट्री इज़ इंक्लूडेड हियर. So gymnosperms, they include many of the examples like pinus, then cycas, then even the importance for pinus, that is हम पहले कर चुके हैं. Mostly the fungus, it is present in association with pinus. So the term which we have earlier used, that is mycorrhiza. फंगस वाला टॉपिक जब हमने किया था तब उसमें हमने ये देखा था कि फंगस, इट इज़ प्रेजेंट इन एसोसिएशन विद द रूट्स ऑफ पाइनस, मींस हायर जिम्नोस्पर्मिक प्लांट, ऐसा हमने मेंशन किया था. तो यहाँ पे हम परफेक्टली देख सकते हैं कि पाइनस, इट इज़ इन कॉम्बिनेशन विद और इट इज़ इन सिम्बायोटिक एसोसिएशन विद फंगस एंड नाउ इट इज़ नोन एज माइकोरिजा. Then cycas is also present, as I have said to you. Small specialized roots, they are present like coralloids, which are concerned with the nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. So these are some of the examples. Now if we consider the detailed structure, the stems, they are mostly unbranched like in cycas. Sometimes they are branched like in pinus or cedrus. Even the leaves may be simple or compound leaves. In cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for few years, and the leaves in gymnosperms, they are well adapted to withstand extreme of temperatures, even humidity, wind. You must have heard about conifers, जो generally coniferous forest में मिलते हैं. So conifer trees, they the needle like leaves, they are present in them, and they reduce the surface area, and even their thick cuticle is the outermost layer which protects the inner part or inner tissue. So the thick cuticle, they are having sunken stomata and also help to reduce water loss. So ये सारे adaptations उनके environment के according हैं, and they are very special type of features which are found in these gymnospermic trees. Mainly I am talking about coniferous trees. Now let us see about more detail related to its reproductive part. So if we see the reproduction, the special structures like microsporophylls and megasporophylls, they are developed. So gymnosperms are actually heterosporous, that means two different type of spores they are developed. We are talking about sporophytic phase, and they produce haploid microspores and haploid megaspores. Micro means smaller, mega means bigger. So microspores, they will be a part of male gamete, and megaspores, they will be a part of female gamete. So here the two kind of spores, they are produced within the sporangia. So microspores are produced in microsporangia and megaspores are produced in megasporangia. And these megasporangia and microsporangia, they are borne on sporophylls. Sporophylls are foliage leaf on which these structures, they are present. And sometimes these sporophylls, they spirally twine around along the main axis, and then compactly it will be forming a cone like structure, which is also known as strobilus, that we have already learned in pteridophyte. So strobilus like structure that is formed. So here, if the microsporophyll forms such type of structure, it is known as male cone or male strobili, and if megasporophyll, it develops such type of structure, it is known as female cone or female strobili. So the male part, microsporangia, it will develop the pollen grain, and it will develop within the microsporangia. So we have seen that how these structures, they are developed. Even the ovule, that will be developed within the megasporangia. So we can compare these two structures which are related to male and female reproductive part respectively. Now let's see the special example of cycas. Cycas is a tree. Here the male or female cone or strobili, they are born on same tree like in Pinus, but if we talk about cycas, they are present on different trees. So certain variations and exceptions, they are always present in the nature. The observation is the main key to learn. So students, I will tell you again and again, if you love biology, just go around your environment, observe by your eyes, and try to learn as such directly, practically. It will be more easier for you to remember all the things. So students, earlier in bryophytes and pteridophytes, we have seen alternation of generation. Let us revise again. In bryophytes, the gametophytic phase was main phase and sporophytic phase was subsidiary. But in pteridophytes, we have seen the gametophytic phase was subsidiary and main phase was sporophytic phase. That means spore producing phase. But unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, in gymnosperms, the male and female gametophytes do not have any independent free living existence. They remain within the sporangia, retained on the same sporophyte, and here the pollen grain is released from the microsporangium. Just now I have explained you. So they are carried in air currents, and then they come in contact with the opening of ovules which are borne on megasporophyll. So actually pollen grains, they come in contact with the female reproductive part. The pollen tube then carrying the male gametes grows. That means it grows and reach up to the ovule and discharge their content there near the opening or mouth, and then it is followed by fertilization, then zygote development, then embryo development, and lastly the ovules, they are converted into seeds. And as I have said to you earlier, the seeds are not covered by any ovary wall or like this, but they are naked. This is the main identification of gymnospermic plants. Okay, so earlier we have seen many examples like Pinus, Cycas, Cedrus, even the Christmas tree, it is included here. But here on your screen, another example that is displayed, which is known as ginkgo, and here it is very short heighted. Seeds are shown, then even the long shoot is shown, and the other structures are shown here. So the things are clear to you. how the gymnospermic plants they are observed, or what are the characteristic features which are displayed, what is the reproductive method, what are the new terms which you have learned. So all how to write I have displayed here. So point wise, always students, I tell again and again that always write down the points properly so that it will become easy for you to remember. So in gymnosperms, how to write? First you will write about characteristics, then reproduction, and then examples. Even the fertilization that is shown, how the fertilization that is possible, how the microsporangia and megasporangia, they will release microspore and megaspore, and then they are fertilized, the zygote development, the embryo development, and so on. So write accordingly as I have explained you. Now new topic and most important topic, even in further in your 12th standard it will help you. So this topic is very important to learn for 11th standard as well as 12th standard Gujarat board, and as well as for your NEET preparation if you are doing. So next topic is about angiosperms. Angiosperms are also known as most advanced type of plant group. They are dominating over the plant world, and most important feature for identification of angiosperm is they bear flowers, beautiful flowers they are present, or even simple flowers are also present. Then fruit development is observed. So all these structures, they will show you the identification of angiospermic plants. So definitely this is one of the differentiating point, that unlike gymnosperms where the ovules were naked, right now we have learned it earlier, the angiosperms are also known as flowering plants, and here the flowers they are developed for the first time. So we can say that the seeds are covered in the angiospermic plants and flowers they are developed. So flower bearing plant is angiosperm. Then if we see the few examples, let us see the few examples here. Wolffia, one of the example, which is the most microscopic angiospermic plant, and if we compare it with the eucalyptus is a tall tree about 100 meters of height or even more than that. So great variation is seen in size, form, color, shape of leaves, their structures, their habitat. So great variation is seen here. If we see the economic importance, they can provide food, fodder, fuel, medicine, and many more things which are commercially important, having commercially important products. We have talked about flowers. So flower, you all know the basic structure of flower. You have learned in your 10th standard. The basic structure of flower includes the outermost part is known as calyx, followed by corolla, followed by androecium, and then gynoecium. Here androecium and gynoecium, they comprises of main reproductive parts. Androecium is male reproductive part and gynoecium is female reproductive part. Androecium, which is the male reproductive part, its unit is known as stamen. So stamen is one of the unit, and each stamen, when we see the detailed structure, it consists of a filamentous part, and then the anther is present at the tip. So the anthers by meiosis process, they will produce pollen grains. We are familiar with this term. So pollen grains are developed within the anthers, which are a part of stamen. Now if we consider the female reproductive part is the main present in the centermost portion of flower, and the unit of female reproductive part is carpel. Carpel, if we see the structure, it is also known as pistil. So pistil consists of three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma is the uppermost part and ovary is the lowermost part. Definitely the pollen grains which are shed, they settle on the stigma and then they travel through style and reach up to the ovary for fertilization. Then the fertilization will take place, then zygote development take place, and embryo development take place, and even the endosperm development will take place. So all these details you will be going to learn in your 12th standard. Right now only the summary part of this topic you have to learn. Means I am talking about the more detail which right now I have explained you. Then even the structure of an embryo. Each embryo consists of 3-celled egg apparatus. Then this egg apparatus consists of 1 egg cell and 2 synergid cells. Then 3 antipodal cells are present and 2 polar nuclei are present. Right now in your 11th standard, only remember these terms. The detail, very detail is not, I am not including it, only the superficial idea you have to take. Then one more important event is pollination. So pollen grains are developed, but they has to travel up to ovary for fertilization. So there are so many means, like they are carried through wind, water, and even with the help of certain animals, birds, insects, etc. So this pollination also you are going to study in detail in your 12th standard. And fertilization, I have explained you the development, the fertilization, the development of embryo, development of endosperm. So all you are going to study in your 12th standard. But right now only one term which is important to remember I want to share. Here majorly in angiospermic plants, the 2 fusions it take place for embryo sac. That is why a special term is used which is known as double fertilization. So detail of double fertilization I will explain you in your 12th standard. Right now only remember these few terms. So after double fertilization, the ovules they develop into seeds and the ovary it develop into fruit, which is the main identification of all the angiospermic plants. Now I have displayed you how to write point wise, but before that one thing was remaining which I am explaining right now. These angiospermic plants they can be categorized into 2 subgroups which are known as dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So dicotyledons and monocotyledons they can be differentiated with many points. So we will discuss. So I will explain you with the differentiating points only. In dicot, 2 cotyledons are present. In monocot, single cotyledon is present. In dicotyledons, reticulate venation in leaves is present. You must have seen the peepal leaf. So a network type of venation that is shown. How the veins they are arranged, that is known as venation. So network type of veins they are present in the leaves. If we see monocot, the venation is parallel. जैसे आपने देखा होगा शुगर केन लीफ और मेज लीफ, अगर नहीं देखा है तो ज़रूर से देखना, आपको डिफरेंस इजीली समझ में आ जाएगा. So this is also another differentiating point. Then if we see the flower, the flowers in dicot plants or dicotyledonous plants, they have either tetramerous or pentamerous structure. Tetramerous means 4 and pentamerous means 5. So individual units of flower, they are either 4 in number or 5 in number. If we see in monocot, they are 3 in number. That's why it is known as trimerous. Then lastly, the taproot system is found in dicot and fibrous root system is found in monocot. अगर आपको सिंपल एग्जांपल देखना हो, मेज़ या ये तो आपको फार्म हाउस पे ही मिलेंगे, बट आपके घर के आसपास बहुत सारी घास होगी, ग्रास. सो ग्रास इज़ ऑल्सो इंक्लूडेड इन मोनोकॉट. तो ग्रास का रूट सिस्टम आपको मालूम है और बाकी सभी ट्रीज़ का रूट सिस्टम आपको मालूम है. टैप रूट और फाइब्रस रूट का डिफरेंस आपने प्राइमरी स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ा होगा. सो ऑल दीज बेसिक पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंसेस दे विल शो यू easy identification of dicot and monocot plants. So they are the subgroups of angiospermic plants. So in previous slide also I have shown you how to write about it. सबसे पहले characteristic features लिखेंगे, उसके बाद reproduction, उसका mechanism, some important terms, examples, their importance, and lastly the subdivisions of angiospermic plants. So इस तरह से अगर आप point wise लिखेंगे तो question format में भी आपको मालूम चलेगा क्या question पूछा है आपको, क्या आंसर लिखना है. और इस स्लाइड में भी आपको मैंने डिटेल बताया है. एक टर्म उसकी डेफिनेशन मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. एक्चुअली वी हैव लर्नड इट व्हेन द मेल गैमेट्स दे आर फ्यूज्ड विद फीमेल just to form the zygote. This process is actually known as syngamy. So syngamy is a special term which is used for showing the fusion of male and female gametes. So ये term आपको 12th standard के लिए भी याद रखना है, ये topic आपको 12th standard के लिए भी याद रखना है, मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था. Hope you like today's topic. थोड़ी सी नई बातें, थोड़ी चीज़ें आपको मालूम होती हैं, but still how to write properly, how to learn properly, that is more important. पता हम सबको सब कुछ होता है, but we are unable to secure marks. तो वो कहाँ कमी रह जाती है आप हमसे भी पूछ सकते हैं, आप अपने आप को ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं. और अब आप धीरे धीरे मैच्योर हो रहे हैं, so you should better remember how to secure marks. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this today's lecture, today's session. प्लीज़ रिवाइज इट ऑल द थिंग्स. थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा, बट स्टिल अगर आप शुरू करोगे तो हमेशा उसका जो एंड है वो भी अच्छा होगा. ओके, सो विल मीट विद द लास्ट टॉपिक ऑफ दिस सेम चैप्टर एंड वी विल एंड इन नेक्स्ट सेशन. टिल देन, बाय बाय, टेक केयर स्टूडेंट्स.